All right, Shalom Israel. We live. We live with the ISUPK. Me brothers and sisters tuning in. If you could like and share the class, let everybody know we live. We'll be getting started momentarily. Give me 1 second, y'all. Hold on. All right. We go ahead and get into it. Shalom Israel. You live with the ISUPK. Priest and Captain Soccer War holding the class down live from Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have classes from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Memphis. You brothers and sisters tuning in, you have family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas. Get them in contact with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Since 1969, we have been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2023, more important for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on this earth. What we like to do with these classes is give brothers and sisters an opportunity to go into this book called the Bible, to gain the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Most High has placed therein in order for us to be able to come back to being the people that He called us to be and to reclaim our righteous place on the earth as kings and priests and princesses of the Most High. With that being said, I'd like to start the class off with questions. If any brothers and sisters have any questions about any topic pertaining to the Bible or outside of the Bible, just pertaining to life, raise your hand if you're in the class. If you're online, type it in. Tonight's going to be a continuation for this Back to the Basics series of classes that I'm teaching. This Back to the Basics series of classes is probably going to last a couple of weeks. So it'll be this week's classes, next week's classes, and then I may shift into something else. Um, Definitely, just like I said, I explained yesterday with the class that was about what is the truth. Just wanted to, hit a soft reset with these classes here in Memphis. What I like to do with my classes is I like to build, what I'm saying, on different topics and different subjects. Of course, when there are things going on in the world, different, current events, I like to touch on those things. But every once in a while, it's important to just go back to the beginning and reestablish the foundation of what it is that we teach in ISUPK and why it is that those basic, foundational understandings of the Bible, are important. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful to be able to go into complex breakdowns about, the Third World War and Armageddon and, different things like that. But sometimes you got to just go back to the simplicity of God's wisdom. And I like to I always stress in these classes that the Bible is a very simple, easy book to understand. The reason why it's been so difficult for so many to grasp the knowledge is because of the lies and the propaganda and the misinformation that has been pushed via religion and different organizations and people with motives to draw you away from the true knowledge of the Most High. I'm thankful that in the ISUPK since 1969, we have been teaching our people to live according to just what the word says. It's not very difficult to obey God when you understand that that is what the Bible is all about. So yesterday we talked about the truth. Today we're going to talk about standing on the law. Towards the end of yesterday's class, we talked about the culture that the Most High gave to the children of Israel. And in establishing our culture, He gave us what the Bible calls laws, statutes, and commandments. And it's very important that the first thing you learn after learning the knowledge of who the children of Israel are, who the Bible is written for, why it was written, and what the purpose of the Bible is, the next thing is to understand that the law um, is the foundation for everything. The laws of the Most High is the foundation for all of our belief and all of our faith. It's the reason why we trust and believe that all of the promises that God made to His people um, are legitimate. The law is the basis for all of the what's the word I'm looking for? Not morality. The law is it's what drives us in life. Even for those who are unaware or who are non-believers, your life is dictated by the laws of God. The good and the bad, the ugly, the blessings and the curses, the rises and the falls of civilizations and cultures, all of it stands on the Most High's law. So for tonight's class, we're going to go into what the Bible says and how it declares the importance of the Most High's law. All right. The first scripture we're going to get is let's see something. All right. All right. All right. Bear with me. Come on, bro. Hold on. Bear with me, y'all. I need this to search for specific wisdom. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, let's get Isaiah chapter 34, verse 16. I thought I was looking for another scripture though. But let's go ahead and get Isaiah 34 and 16. Isaiah 34 and 16. Nah, that's not it. That's not the scripture I'm looking for. Bear with me, y'all. It's a scripture in the Apocrypha. All right, give me Baruch, book of Baruch. And I believe it's going to be Baruch chapter 3. Okay. That chapter 3. It might be chapter 4. Let me see something. Baruch 4. All right. Let's go ahead. We're going to start at Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. All right. All right. Bear with me. All right. This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 1 in the Apocrypha. Baruch chapter 4, verse 1 says, "This is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endures forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die." Everybody understands? That's what I mean when I say that the law of God is the foundation of all life and all living. Everything in your life is governed by the laws of God. And it's being in the truth, living in this time of 2023. There's been a lot of effort taken by our oppressor to remove the reality from people's perception that life is very simple, man. Life is very black and white. You know what I'm saying? Because of all the modern technology, because of all of the distractions and all of the things that have been manufactured to distract us from the simple, cycle of life, oftentimes we forget the things that are very important, the things that are actually valuable. So many of us are chasing material things. You're chasing wealth. You're chasing money. You're chasing a career. You're chasing some status. You're chasing, you know, people's opinions of you. You're chasing, belonging to some class. When if you just strip away all of the distractions that society provides for people, day to day life really is very simple. It's very easy. You know what I'm saying? Every day you wake up and you have choices and decisions to make. And there's only one of two choices that you have every day. And it's, do you choose to live life the right way, or do you choose to live it the wrong way? And if you choose to live life the right way, then you prolong your life, you extend your life, you invite peace and righteousness and safety and joy into your life. If you choose wrong, then you are drawing yourself closer to death. You're drawing yourself closer to, you know, shortening your life. And that's what the Bible, that's what the laws of God were given to the children of Israel, to help them to determine, to help them to decide every day, are we going to choose to live and prosper and thrive, or are we going to choose to not do the right thing and bring ourselves closer to an early grave? And that's the simplicity of the law of God, is that if you want to live, here's the way. If you want to chance it, if you want to, do something different, if you don't want to live life the way it was intended, hey, and do your own thing. But there's no guarantees with doing your own thing. Everybody understands. And that's what Baruch chapter 4, verse 1 is saying. This is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endures forever. This law, God's law, in philosophy, they've always philosophized about the meaning of life and why are we here, and you know, um, all the different nature versus nurture arguments on the development of people, and where sin comes from. And they don't call it sin, but whether you choose to be a homosexual or be a heterosexual, whether you choose to do honest in dealings in business, whether you choose to be a murderer or be a criminal, all of these different philosophies that have always existed in these different civilizations about why people do the things they do. The Bible gives you a very simple answer. People either choose to obey God, live life the right way, or they choose to disobey the Most High and live life the wrong way. You live life the right way, you live. You live life the wrong way, you die. And that's the simplicity of life, as it's always been on the earth, and it's no different in 2023. Reading on in Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. You keep these commandments, you'll come to life. You break these commandments or leave them, then you are going to die. And we're living in a time where I know this is not just for me, because I've talked to many people in the truth, out of the truth, but we are living in a time now where the Most High is beginning to really move in people's lives. You know what I'm saying? You see somebody who you try to warn them about God and warn them about doing the right thing and tell them, man, listen, you heading down the wrong path, man. You shouldn't do that, man. Don't you know the Most High gonna deal with you? He not playing no games. And people that take him lightly, and in my experience lately, the bad thing you warn someone about happening happens right then, tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now. The Lord is not being slack on, you know, proving himself in this time. And so those of you who choose life, I mean, look at how quickly your life has turned around since you came into the truth. One day you were just praying and searching and wanting for things to be better in your life. Because you were sincere, the Lord moved in your life like that. And now look at where you are. Now look at how things are going for you. People who who were warned, people who I've seen brothers and sisters have a chance to come into the truth. You tell them, hey man, you gotta stick with the Lord. Like, this is the time right now. We ain't got a lot of time to be playing. We don't have a lot of time to be, joking around with the Lord, man. We in serious times. Yeah, you right, man. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it together, man. You right. They don't listen. Boom. The next day, something horrible happens. A week later, something horrible happens. And then they gotta call you and you gotta let them know. Hey, Salaki, I tried to warn you. I tried to let you know, man. The Lord, he ain't playing right now. We got to get serious about him. You know what I'm saying? And this is something that is unique for brothers and sisters in the truth. But it it took me years to realize that not everybody is being dealt with by the Most High the same. Like, I remember when I first came in the truth, man. Anybody that wasn't trying to hear the truth, I looked at them like, man, you an evil nigga, man. You stupid, man. You dumb. How could you not see that this the truth? I remember I used to hate, not hate, but I would be mad at niggas that was still in church, mad at folks that was, nigga, you in Islam. Don't you know that's a dirty rock and that book Quran is toilet paper and trash? While those things are true, and that's what we go and we teach out on the streets when we're battling people, not everybody is someone you're battling. You know what I mean? Just because someone's not awake to the truth yet doesn't mean they aren't on their journey towards becoming a better person or becoming the person the Lord called them to be. You know what I'm saying? So for me, anything that makes a person be better, I'm for it. Not that you a Christian, that's good, that's okay, or you a Muslim, that's good, that's okay. But if you're better than what you were when you was out here selling drugs, robbing and stealing and killing, when you wasn't just getting high every day, when you didn't have a conscience towards the Most High, when your thoughts weren't on doing right or wrong, whatever puts you on that path that inevitably is going to lead you to the truth, if the Lord is with you, I'm for it. When I encounter brothers and cat that's a Muslim, hey, that's what's up. About how long you been in Islam? Okay, what did it taught you, man? What you learn? Okay, got you, baby. You still smoking? Okay, all right. Well, you ain't supposed to smoke. You know what I'm saying? Well, you have a conversation with somebody, but I'm not gonna. Oh, you in Islam? Oh, nigga, you man, come on, man. That ain't even the way, man. That shit's garbage, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, not everybody is where I am, and the best thing that I can do to draw someone into the truth or draw someone to where I am is to be an example. It's to show through how I live my life, show through how I obey the Most High, that this is the path that you should choose, that this is the route that you should follow. But not everybody needs to be beat over the head with how wrong their belief is. A lot of times you show the Most High not through you telling somebody what's right or wrong in their belief, but by you showing them, hey, this is how I get down. This is what I do. This is how the Lord has led me. And if the Lord is with them as He is with you, then they'll see your example and be like, damn, man, maybe I need to get down with them. Because even though they teaching me this and teaching me that in the Islam or in the Christian church or in the, the whatever belief system they have, or hell, some people go to therapy and feel like they found God or find themselves. I'm not gonna tell you therapy is wrong or your therapist is evil or the white man, that therapy just open you up to demons and make your life worse. I'm not gonna knock anything that you're doing to try to improve yourself. But if there's a way that I can show you that there's a better route, then I'll just be that example for someone to see. Everybody understands. Let me drop that. So we read Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. Let's drop that. Let's see. Give me this is one of my favorite scriptures. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 30. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 15. All right. Hold on. Man, it's so much in this right here, but I don't want to let me see something. Man. There's so much here. Let me just go ahead and read from Deuteronomy 31 through 3, all right? It's Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1. All right. It says, and it shall come to pass when all these now, Salakia, if I could, building off of yesterday's class, what is the truth? Truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, right? With that understanding of the truth, now every scripture that we read, the context is that this is speaking to God's people. This is speaking to the children of Israel. This is speaking to so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And that's so important for us in this time because these words aren't blanketed statements. These words just aren't universally for everyone to accept. This was the Most High dealing specifically with a people who had no other culture, who had no other identity, who had no other way of life. And that is the condition that we are in today in 2023 as so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Because of our oppressor, because of slavery, because of captivity, because of, the curses that we've endured or the sufferings we've endured at the hands of our oppressor, we are at a um a place that is so far behind all the other races and all the other nations and all the other peoples of the earth because we are the people who don't have a culture. We don't have a way of life. We don't have an identity. We don't have a structured and understood, path forward. That's why you look at other people on the earth and you look at, I remember years ago when they had the Arab Spring, when they was rising up against their government in Egypt and they rose up in Jordan and they rose up in Libya and Syria and all these other places where they were revolting against their governments. That was made possible because those people had an alternative to what was the current state of affairs. You look at what happened with, I remember, in my studies of history, I remember I studied the Chinese Communist Revolution and the state of affairs in China prior to that Communist Revolution. I remember studying, the Bolshevik Revolution over there in Russia and what was going on with those people in that part of the world prior to them choosing communism and choosing to take the drastic steps and the drastic measures that they took to overhaul and overthrow their governments. Studying, being raised in America and learning from our oppressors' history, the reason for the French Revolution and the reason for the American Revolution and fighting against Britain and getting free of colonial rule. All those people in all those instances were inspired by the idea that there was something better, that there was another pathway forward, something that would benefit their people more. The reason why blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have never revolted, never gone to war, never had a all-out war revolution against their oppressor is because what the hell we gonna do once we get them out the way? What is the next step for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians if there's no white man? What is the next step? We go to war with these devils and we conquer them and we crush them, we get them out the way. Then what we gonna do? Because there is no answer for that, because we don't have any historical reference of what we had prior to them coming here, why would we fight to destroy what exists? So that's how it was when we came out of Egypt during the days of Moses. That's what it was like, during the time when we were under the days of Yahushua, days of Christ. We were under the Romans. We didn't have an understanding of how to do it better. So we just went with the flow. The Bible is the blueprint. It's the missing link for our people. It's the answer to the question, what would we do if our oppressor was removed out of the way? That's why in the ISUPK, we are revolutionaries. The very ideas that we speak of, that's why everything we say and do is so controversial. That's why being out there on the streets and saying the things that we say and speaking the words that we speak and conducting interviews with people about, the different situations and circumstances that we see playing out in the public is so heavy because we have answers to questions that black people never considered before, never even thought that there was a possibility that there's something better than what our oppressor has given us. When you go inside the Bible and find out that God established that thousands of years ago, it's mind-blowing. You understand? So that the law is the answer to what happens if this oppressor goes away. We don't have to worry about what kind of judgment system will we have in place. How are we going to deal with the minor differences and squabbles that people may have? And how do we gather the masses? What do we rally ourselves under? How do we identify? How do we determine, the rules on sexual orientation and the rules on marriage and the rules on, how to deal lawfully and righteously with a brother or a sister concerning different situations and circumstances? The answers to all of those questions are right here in the Bible. The foundation for the civilization that we would establish once this oppressor is out of the way was recorded by our foremothers and fathers thousands of years ago. You understand? So that's why knowing the truth is important, because it gives context to the law and you being able to understand that this law was given for us. Those other nations, they have their own cultures. They have their ways of life. They have their moralities. What is the morality of the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian? What is the morality of God's chosen people that was lost from them, that was taken, that was stripped? This is it. We about to read it. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1. It says, "And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among the nations, whether the Most High thy power has driven thee, and shall return unto the Most High thy power, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then the Most High thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether the Most High thy power has scattered thee." Everybody understands? How do we get out of this oppression, man? How do we get out of this, get from under the neck of get our neck from under the foot of this oppressor? How do we find life in a place where there's nothing but death and destruction all around? Turn back to the Most High. Keep his commandments. Love him with all your mind, your body, and your heart. Teach it to your children to obey his commands. And he'll remove the oppressor out of the way. He'll take you and set you back in your own land. He'll give you back your kingdom. He'll give you back your freedom. He'll give you back your right to self-determination. And that's what we call for as a nation and for a people. But without turning back to the Most High, without obeying him and doing what he said to do, how could we expect to have that order and that blessing and that, freedom to be a nation again? All right. Drop that in Deuteronomy. We're going to go down a few verses later in Deuteronomy 30 to get a full understanding of why it has to be this way. All right. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 11. Again, for a lot of people, because of, religion, and because of our the various methods that our oppressor has used to confuse us and confound our way of thinking, we think this thing is more complicated than it actually is. We think that there's a whole lot more that needs to be done besides the simple answer of just turning back and obeying the Most High. It's Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 11. "For this commandment which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off." The answer that we're looking for, the solution to all our problems, it ain't that difficult. It's not we don't need 40, 50 years of black philosophers to get to the answers of how to solve black on black crime. We don't need, 50 years of people going to colleges and attending elite universities all around the planet to find out from other nations and races of people how they conduct themselves to get to the answers of how to solve the societal problems that exist in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. The difficulties we face as a people, the answers to these problems aren't afar off. They aren't hidden from us. Deuteronomy 30 and 12. "It is not in heaven that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. Neither is it beyond the sea that thou shouldest say, Who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it? But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it. These commandments, man, this understanding, this knowledge, this law, it ain't some far off thing. This ain't, what's the name of that movie? American Treasure, where you got to go and find the lost tomb of Solomon, and what's the Indiana Jones and the what's the Lost Ark. You ain't this the answers, the solutions to the problems in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community aren't buried treasure that's hidden deep in some cave somewhere. It's just right here in the Bible. We just got to open it up and understand, read it, and understand it. We ain't got to send nobody up into outer space to go find the answers to how to fix black people. We ain't got to get in a submarine and go all the way down 2 miles under the ocean to search the wreckage of the Titanic to find the answers to how we fix the issues and the problems plaguing the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Nah, the word is very close to us. It's in our mouth. It's in our heart because it was given to us. It's in our nature. We are loving and caring and compassionate people. Take away the drugs and take away the poverty and take away the oppressor's way of life. We're the Lord's people. And so if we can remove ourselves from everything that takes us away from being the Lord's people, once we begin to embrace who we are, the word is right there. It's close. It's easy to understand. It's easy to comprehend how to stop black on black crime. It's easy to comprehend how do we stop our sons from becoming homosexuals and our daughters from becoming prostitutes. But because you don't know the truth, because you don't know your identity, you don't even think those things are wrong. It's sad how many of our people in this day and time believe that they legitimately believe we're living in a new era and a new time on earth, and homosexuality and the freedoms and the marijuana laws and all these things that their oppressor tells them are new, they accept it and believe that it's new. When how could you think that homosexuality and gender identity was a new thing when you can read it in the Bible that was written thousands of years ago? They was doing the same stuff. God hated it back then, destroyed the people who did it back then. What do you think he's gonna do now? Why do you think the HIV/AIDS rates is out of control? What is the thing? The nasty disease with the mouth. That disease went away. Right after COVID, there was some nasty disease with these gay men was having sores opening on their face, like craters on their face. What was it called? Some nasty disease. The answers to that is simple. Choose life. Choose to keep the commandments. Obey the Most High. But because you don't even know who you are, and you've been given your oppressor's culture, you believe that there's a way that you can make it at peace doing these abominations. Well, the answers are very simple. It's been laid out before us. This is Deuteronomy 30 and 15. See, I have set before thee this day life and good and death and evil. That's the laws of God. The keys to life and good, death and evil. Verse 16, in that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land whether thou go to possess it. If we're living in a land today and we're not being blessed, then that means we have not obeyed the Most High. We have not kept the commands. We have not loved the Most High with all of our heart. So how do we get back to doing that? First thing we got to do is understand what it means to love God. And somebody brought this up in the class yesterday, but I purposely didn't touch on it because I knew that it was going to come up in this class today. All right. The law is established and built on loving God. Love the Most High with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy spirit. Love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? What does it mean to love? What does this love look like? And again, when I talk about the Bible being black and white, these things are easily understood. There, you don't have to wonder what love is. What does it look like to love God? What does it look like to worship Him? I don't have to wonder. The Bible tells us. That's why being in the truth, we look at Christianity so ridiculous. It's so silly. The singing and the dancing and the stomping and that's not worshiping God. Who taught you that? Where did you get that worship was of, uh, uh, um, that worship took on whatever your interpretation was. You worship God through poetry, worship God through dance, worship God through song. That ain't in the Bible. That's not not in the Bible. You understand? Worshiping the Most High is doing what He said to do. It's obeying Him, being thankful that He gave you the direction to obey Him, praising Him for your life being so glorious because you obeyed Him. If there is no obedience, there is no worship. So then what are you doing in the church? You're just singing and dancing and you're making a mockery of God. You're actively, man, you're doing an evil, horrible thing. You understand? The Bible explains to us what the love of God is so that nobody would ever be confused. Nobody would ever have to wonder or worry about it. 1 John chapter 5, verse 2. And understand this too. What we're about to read in 1 John 5 was understood. It was taught. Any mention of loving God always is prefaced by keep the commands. I command thee this day, obey God, do what He said to do, love the Most High with all your heart. Like, the Bible teaches us to embrace our culture. Don't just do it because you have to do it. Don't obey God because you have to obey God. Don't obey God like, oh, I can't eat no shrimp. I can't eat no pork. I can't smoke no weed. It's embrace. Nah, we don't smoke. We don't do drugs. Nah, we don't eat, we don't eat the things that clean the water. Nah, we don't eat pigs. They're garbage disposals on the farm. I don't put that in my body. That's not food. Like, there's a difference between, yeah, no, I don't smoke weed. I can't eat that. And nah, I don't do drugs. I don't get high. I don't need to get high. No, I would never touch a white woman. Yeah, I don't care what she looks like. I don't care how much money she has. No, they're beneath me. Like, that's loving the Most High with all your heart. It's like, you're not doing this thing because I got to do it. No, you are embracing your culture. You're proud of it. That's what the Bible means when it says love the Most High with all your heart. Don't just do these laws like it's something you got to do. Stand on the law like this is how we live. This is why we're better than everybody else. It was understood in the Old Testament that that's what this was about. In the New Testament, brothers and sisters needed this clarification because we have been so far removed from our culture, so far removed from obeying the Most High, that they needed it to be made clear. 1 John 5 and 2 says, by this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and keep His commandments. Verse 3, for this is the love of God, that we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not grievous. Everybody understands? This is the love of God. You say you love God, you say you a firm believer, keep His commandments. That's it. If you're not keeping His commandments, I don't even have to tell you. I don't have to leave it up for speculation if you don't keep His commandments. The Bible says that The love of God is keeping his commandments. But what if someone doesn't keep his commandments? What if someone doesn't obey what the Lord said to do? Um, this is First John chapter 2, verse 3. And hereby we do know that we know him, if we keep his commandments. That's how we know if we know God, if the Most High is with us, if you've accepted Jesus Christ into your life. That's what Christians say, right? What does that even look like? What does that even mean to accept Jesus into your life? How do I know if a nigga got Jesus in him or not? And the church is open to interpretation. Oh, she sang a good song, Jesus in her. He did. You see that dance he did? Jesus is in that boy. What? Girl, did y'all hear how he said that prayer? Yeah, he did. Good prayer. Yeah, God is in him. Nigga, where you get that from? Who taught you that? Imagine how that's how silly religion has made us think of God. Cause a nigga sang a song, it was Jesus. Cause a nigga did a dance, God is with him. Cause a pastor preached a sermon, oh, the Lord strong with that one. What is that even? What are you talking about? I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. It's an utterly ridiculous proposition. But we don't have to wonder what it mean. What we don't have to wonder what it looks like if God is with you, or if to see something wonderful and say, "Oh man, that was Jesus. I think that was Jesus. I think that was the Lord." You don't have to wonder. The Bible makes it clear. God made it easy for you to know in His Word. What does it mean that Jesus is in someone? What does it mean you accepted God into your life? What does it mean that you believe in God? Belief isn't up to interpretation. Believing in God isn't something I gotta wonder if somebody is doing. But everything is action. Everything is what you do. Here's how we know that we know God. If we keep His commandments. You can't obey God on accident. You can't obey God. You can't just be a random obeyer of the Lord. No, you got to be somebody who is. This is something that's done on purpose. It's something that's done because someone dedicated themselves to having discipline. And you could have been raised in the truth, but being raised in the truth is not something that happens on accident. That's not just a circumstance of your life. Someone worked hard as hell for you to be able to be raised in the truth. Your dad, your mother, your grandmother, somebody busted their ass to learn discipline and learn focus and learn how to be dedicated to the Lord, to learn how to stand on the culture that was given to us. Somebody had to work and fight for you to be able to know the knowledge and the truth of God. But it don't happen accidentally. You don't just wake up one day and be like, oh, I'm going to obey God now. That's not how it happens. 1 John 2 and 3, and hereby we do know that we know him, if we keep his commandments. He that says, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. Nigga sung a hell of a song. Sis did a hell of a dance. Man, them pies was baked to perfection. But I know Jesus ain't in none of them niggas because they don't do nothing God said to do. They don't keep any of his commandments. Even in the basic, silly understanding of God's commandments that Christians have, you niggas don't even do those. I never met a righteous Christian in my life. Period. Ever in life. Never met anybody that did everything God said to do. Until I came into the truth. And that's how I knew that this was the truth. Because these men don't just talk about it. They are examples of what it is I'm reading out of this Bible. I want to be one of them. I remember, man, my first class I sat in with General Muhammad. I was already sold that this was the place that I was going to learn, that I would be able to learn the Bible, right? My first class with General Katham opened my eyes in such a way that I knew that this was the place where I was going to learn, right? But my first class with General Muhammad solidified it because I didn't know how much of a man I was not until I came to the UPK. Like I always was I you know, say this a lot of the time, but I never was like I wasn't a hood nigga. I wasn't no street cat. I was in the streets. I had friends that was in the streets, niggas that hustled or whatever. But I wasn't never, I'm not putting my life on the line for no taking penitentiary chances or risking death over some goofy BS in the streets. I never was that kind of guy. But I wasn't no soft nigga neither. Like I came from a family of fighters. My grandfather was a boxer. All my uncles were boxers and fighters. I come from a family of real hardcore niggas. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we wasn't no bullies. We didn't go out there starting trouble. I never was around my uncles didn't tote no guns. My uncles wasn't strapped and had beef with niggas because they was in the gym all the time. They was fighters. So I grew up around fighting men. You know what I'm saying? But I understood that just because you can fight don't mean you have to. And so my time in the streets and in the world, I navigated around a lot of problems and a lot of issues because, like, nigga, why? Why do that? You understand what I'm saying? What was the point of me saying this? Um, Man, what was I just talking about? I was lining up a scripture, right? Um, Man, I forgot what I was saying, y'all. I think the point I was gonna make was that it's not like you could be the loudest, you could be somebody who's, you know, gives off a vibe like I'm dangerous, I'm a threat, I'm a gangster, I'm a killer, and be the most scary, softest nigga that there is to be. Oh yeah, General Muhammad's class, the water shower bar. So my whole life I never was the aggressive cat. I never was the, posturing like, yeah, nigga, what's up, nigga? Like, I never was a type of cat that intimidated niggas because I felt like it wasn't necessary. I could just be cool, chilling ass dude, right? But I remember going and sitting in General Muhammad's class and just seeing it was his spirit let me know that these niggas gonna teach me how to be a man. Like they going like I want to be like that, without even saying anything, without even General Muhammad never postures. He never, yeah, what's up, young nigga? Like he wasn't no, like he don't flex on you and but yeah, it was good. He don't, you go to give him a dap, he ain't super dapping you up. He ain't no real showy kind of cat. But you could just look at him and know, like, nah, that nigga's serious. Like that's I remember my first General Muhammad class sitting there watching him and saying, yo, I want to be like that. Like, I want to be serious. I want niggas to see me and know, like, yeah, like that nigga, nah, don't fuck with Slim. Like he cool, he chilling, but nah, he ain't the nigga to rub the wrong way. And it amazed me that I got that off of my General Muhammad without ever even, didn't even notice cat touch him or nothing. I just sitting in class. I had sat in class for a week. You know what I'm saying? And General, it was Captain Katham at the time, or Officer Mashak and Officer Nyathak, and you know what I'm saying? Brothers would teach class, and I'd be in there asking questions and getting answers. But it was like with General Muhammad's presence, that's what I'm talking about, his presence. General Muhammad has a presence that is just manly. It's like it's masculine. And I remember seeing that, and I remember in my mind like, yo, these niggas are gonna make me like that. I want to be like that. I want to be one of them. I want to be one of them so bad. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't take long for it to take effect in my actual life because once I came into the truth, of course, I started wearing my all black, put fringes on all my clothes, wearing boots everywhere. And I remember going around my neighborhood where I used to go hang out with my friends that was hustlers and in the streets, and always kind of feeling like, I'm just a regular guy. Like I know these niggas know I ain't no gangster, and I ain't trying to pretend to be no gangster, and I'm cool with that because if I don't give off that energy, then it'll never come to me type situation. And I never got tested or tried. Nobody ever tried to bully me or what you doing around here, nigga. Like I avoided all of that. You know what I'm saying? But I remember, man, coming around the way, chilling and shit. We on the block chilling, and you know what I'm saying? Me and my partner at the time, we ended up stepping off. And he was like, "Damn, bro." He was like, "Man, you know what I'm saying? You was like, man, niggas see the truth." I forget what he said to me. But he was like, "Yeah, man, niggas was asking about you and shit." I'm like, "What you mean?" He was like, "You know what I'm saying? I had so and so come to me and be like, man, what's up with your man?" I like, he on some soldier shit. Like, he just, what's up with him? You know what I'm saying? Like, what he got going on? He's like, I was trying to tell him you be with the Israelite shit. I'm like, what you mean? No, he was just like, nah, like he just used this on some real militant shit. Like niggas could tell like something different about you. And I knew then, like, damn, like it already had started to take effect, you know what I'm saying? Just the seriousness of being in the truth. And it's funny for me because I don't see myself the way people see me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what people thought about the guy that I was when I was in the world. But when I came into the truth, for a nigga to say to another nigga, man, what's up with your man? I like he on some real soldier shit. It's like, I don't, what did I look like? How did I look to them after that? Like, you know what I'm saying? But I said all that to say, I knew when I came into the truth that these men were going to make me a man. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was raised in a house with my uncles and I knew about I could fight and wasn't no sucker, wasn't soft, I really didn't know about presenting yourself as a man. I didn't know how to, you know, really have a presence. Before the truth, my presence was just cool, fun guy. After that, my presence is, now this is a serious cat. It's funny because maybe my rib, you know what I'm saying, has told me over the time that people that have been around me or ask, that people that don't know me but been around me might ask her, like, does he even smile? Do he laugh? And I'm like, why would they think I don't smile or laugh? That's crazy. But I don't, as I'm saying, because of what I've learned in the truth and because of what the Lord has made me through his laws and through the way I live my life, I'm a very serious cat. Even though I don't know it, because I'm me. I know how to have a good time. I know how to have fun. I'm very sociable. But I'm also everything that the Lord has made me to be because of the truth. You know what I'm saying? And I said all that to say it's not about the what I'm trying to say. We don't have to wonder what it looks like for Jesus for you to have accepted, you know, Jesus into your life, or for you to have and to have the Most High in you. You know what I'm saying? For you to be living, for you to have the Holy Spirit, I don't have to wonder what that is. I don't have to wonder. I don't have to look at somebody falling out in church and say, "Is that the Holy Spirit?" Or look at, you know, people, all kinds of, you know, a baby is, you know, you holding the baby and the baby staring off in the distance, and you like, oh, is the baby looking at Jesus? I don't have to wonder where Jesus is or what does it look like to have God with you or the Lord to be with you. The Bible tells us what it is. And I learned from General Muhammad, I learned from General Katham in the minute that the Lord chose to be in my life to raise me up, that the Lord being with you is based off of what you do. It's not based off of how you talk or how you stand or how you walk. It's based off of what you do and how you live your life. And I knew from being around them brothers immediately, these niggas gonna teach me how to serve God. They gonna teach me how to be a man of God. And I was so excited. I was so excited to learn how to be a man of God. I was so excited to be one of these men. It was the greatest thing that ever happened in my life. You know what I'm saying? So you know, like, to know that the scriptures backs that up with how simple it is for us to know and to recognize and to be able to explain what it is to believe, what it is to know God, what it is to love God. It's amazing to me. All right. So lucky for that, y'all. So yes, First John chapter 2, verse 3. Hereby we do know that we know him if we keep his commandments. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. You understand? Um, let's keep reading. Let's keep reading. Man, this is okay. We're gonna keep reading a little bit. We're gonna keep reading, all right? We're gonna keep reading in First John chapter 2. All right. First John chapter 2. We now at verse 5. But whoso keeps his word, in him verily is the love of God perfected. Hereby we know that we are in him. If you keep the Most High's word, in him is the love of God perfected. How is the love of God perfected? It's perfected in the man that does what God says to do. Perfect love is obedience to God. And if I obey the Most High with all my heart, then what does that mean for the people around me? What does that mean for the people in my life, for the people who I come into contact with? They will experience God's love perfected. They will experience righteousness. They will know this brother here, he loved me because he would never do anything to me that goes against God. And because he would never do anything to me that goes against God, he would never do anything to me that he wouldn't want done to himself. When the Bible says love thy neighbor as you love yourself, we don't have to wonder what loving your neighbor looks like. I don't have to wonder if is loving my neighbor giving them sugar? Is loving my neighbor helping them with their bills when they late on the rent? Is loving my neighbor, I don't know, helping the old lady with her groceries? Does that make me? I love my neighbor. I don't have to wonder what loving my neighbor is because I know what God's word says loving my neighbor is. Loving my neighbor is keeping God's commandments as it concerns my neighbor. Following God's instructions on what to do and what not to do with my neighbor. The God's commandments are clear. Don't covet. Don't want something someone else has so bad that you'll steal it from them or you'll harm them to get it. Don't commit adultery. Don't have sex with another brother's woman. Don't be a fornicator. Don't have sex with some brother's daughter and throw her away. It's easy to love my neighbor as I love myself. I'll just obey God concerning my neighbor and my brother and the people who are around me. And that is how we know that we are in him. First John chapter 2, verse 6. He that says he abides in him ought himself also to walk even as he walked. If you say Christ is living through you, you're living in the light of God. You're living you're covered by the blood of Jesus. You love and living in the newness of life and all this crap that Christians quote. It ain't crap. It's true in the Bible, but they aren't living it. They're just saying it out of their mouth, which is, we talked about that yesterday in the breakdown of finding peace in your life. You can't have peace in your life if you're a hypocrite. You can't have peace in your life if you say you love God but don't do nothing he said to do. You think God gonna let you find yourself? You think he's gonna let you not be stressed and depressed and anxious all the time and wondering why you're not feeling fulfilled in life? You feel that way because you ain't doing what God said to do. Because you know you a hypocrite. Nobody else might know. They might look at you like you perfect, but you know you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. That's why you're struggling. That's why you're suffering. And you don't have to suffer. You don't have to struggle. But you do have to fight yourself to be who the Lord called you to be. If you say you live in Jesus or Jesus lives in you or you're living in the light of God, then you should walk as Christ walked. How did Christ walk? Christ walked perfect. He obeyed God's laws, did everything that the Lord said to do. Even in the face of death, he would not turn his back on obeying the Lord. He could have turned his back on God to save his own life, but then what would he have had? What does it profit a man to gain the world but lose his soul? When you begin to understand the truth, these words come to life. They take on new meaning. They take on you take on an understanding of these words that's far beyond anything that a Christian could comprehend. 1 John 2:7, brethren, I write no new commandment unto you, but an old commandment which ye had from the beginning. The old commandment is the word which ye have heard from the beginning. Again, a new commandment I write unto you, which thing is true in him and in you, because the darkness is past and the true light now shines. You understand? What is he saying? This thing I'm finna tell y'all, this ain't nothing new, man. This is not nothing new. This is the same thing I'm saying is what y'all heard from the beginning. Everything that again, I told y'all that what John wrote here, it was understood in the Old Testament. It was understood in our culture when we knew who we were, when we had our land, when we had our identity. We knew that loving God was embracing our culture, was embracing the laws he gave us, embracing the way of life, embracing being different from everybody else, being holy. It's one thing to put fringes on your clothes and say, I gotta go to camp with these fringes on. It's another thing to say, nigga, listen, that's why I thank the Most High. When I came into the truth, I knew that I needed to put fringes on all my clothes because I was weak in caring for myself. I didn't care what nobody thought about me. I don't give a fuck what anybody think about me. Who gonna tell me anything? All my life, I was that guy. Couldn't nobody tell me nothing. Nigga, you a hater. You jealous. You hating. You know what I'm saying? You talking down because nigga, you weak. You wish you could be me. So when I came into the truth, I still was that same guy to the world. And being that guy to the world, I didn't care enough about myself. Didn't love myself enough to not do certain things. So if it was left up to me, I'd just go still be funky old dirty me. But being in the truth, to me, I wasn't. Not only was I not the man that I used to be, but it ain't about me no more. It's about Yahushua. It's about these brothers who are teaching me. It's about the sacrifices that we all made. And these brothers have made sacrifices. What do I look like? Tarnishing their reputation because people know that I'm one of them. But when I'm on my own time, I'm doing this and doing that and doing evil. Even though I don't care what people think about me, I do care what people think about them. And so my love for them, for the men who raised me, had me to say, I got to represent these niggas even when I don't feel like it. How can I do that? You'll never not know that I'm one of them. Put fringes on all my clothes. If I could fit, I came to the truth. I had a whole bunch of Coogee that I used to wear that I had from back in the world. I was one of the freshest niggas you ever seen in your life. But when I came to the truth, I couldn't fit a lot of them clothes no more. That's the only thing that kept fringes from getting put on all that Coogee. Well, I would have put fringes on everything when I came into the truth because I needed it. You know what I'm saying? I needed the fringes to constantly remind me that my life isn't mine anymore. My life belongs to the Lord. My life belongs to these brothers because they saved me. They delivered me. They made me the man that I am. So I owe it to them. And in doing that, when I came into the truth, Captain Yagawap came in the truth after me. You know what I'm saying? That's my uncle, Captain Yagawap. Before Yagawap was even in the truth, before he was even in class, Yagawap put fringes on velour sweatsuits, leather jackets, took all his headbands. Yagawap used to be a boxer in the world. Yagawap had a big fight in Vegas one time. We went out there. We went out there to the fight in Vegas. We had headbands made up that had Yagawap's name on them. Some of them said his slave name. Some of them said his boxing name. But we had, I'm talking about, man, 100 headbands made up with Yagawap's name on them. Yagawap came into the truth. All them headbands, he turned them Jones inside out. And on the side that didn't have no writing, that nigga was putting shields of David, cutting out shields and putting swords. The very first UPK headpieces that was tied around like this, Those was your Garwop's boxing headbands that he turned on the other side and made, you know what I'm saying, our culture out of it. And when your Garwop doing it was like he did it and wasn't even in the truth. So of course, while he doing it, I'm like, well, here, I'm getting my mother. She learned how to sew. He learned how to sew. They throwing fringes on jeans and sweatpants. We throwing fringes on everything, and it grounded us. You know what I'm saying? We embraced the culture. It wasn't like, yeah, you know, I'm an Israelite. Everything about me said I'm an Israelite. I said I'm an Israelite without even saying I'm an Israelite. You knew I was an Israelite from a goddamn mile away. You knew I was an Israelite in the grocery store, at the movie theater, at the bar, on the bus, on the train, at the goddamn cashing my check at the bank. You know I was an Israelite everywhere I went. That's what the Lord talks about. That's what was meant when the Bible said, love the Lord with all your heart. And that's how it was for Israel. We always were proud of being who we were, proud of being the Lord's people. That's why you go look at them Gadites, them old pictures in the black and white. They had shields in their garments. They had fringes on all their garments. You know what I'm saying? Because they represented their culture. Why you think the cowboy culture is fringes? Because them Gadites was the original cowboys. They was the ones out there on the plains in the wild, wild west riding on horseback, you know, with bows and arrows and all of that. And they represented their culture, represented who they were and where they was from, because they embraced their culture. They embraced what made them special, what made them unique. They didn't shy away from it. And what happens when you embrace your culture, when you stand up in it? These other nations take note. You think we don't see? I told brothers years ago, y'all need to trademark these designs y'all doing. Trademark fringes on the jacket, fringes on the wristband, trademark spikes and studs and shields. I remember the brother Karab started up there in New York and started making headpieces, and I was like, you need to go ahead and have some type of tag or some design that say "made by you." So that way, when this shit blow up, excuse my language, the niggas like, man, I got me one of them. Nigga, let me check the inside. Nigga, if it don't say made by Karab and then nigga, yo, you Fugazi. You know what I'm saying? Your Garwop, when he started out making them this, come on, man. Your Garwop's first generation of jackets was killing everything. I don't even know if the stuff he doing now is messing with what he was doing back then. Them first generation, your Garwop jackets, your Garwop, you got to pull out some of the old leather coats. I'm talking about your Garwop, fly nigga in the world. Fly. I come from a lineage of fly ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? Thompson boy, they was some fly niggas. Your Garwop took all the fly clothes he had and threw designs on them. Leather coats, wool jackets, man, linen, man. Decked it all out. Them first generations, we need to get back to that. I'm gonna go, matter of fact, this summertime, I'm gonna go buy me some cheap leather jackets and send them to your Garwop and say, man, put that vintage your Garwop on there. But that's what we knew at one point. And we lost it living under the Romans. We lost it living under the Greeks. And that's why John is telling these brothers, I'm not telling you no new commandment, man. I'm telling you the thing that y'all knew from the beginning. I'm telling you the thing that used to be common knowledge. This ain't nothing new, but I'm breaking it down to y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's what John is saying in 1 John 2 and 8. Again, a new commandment I write unto you, which thing is true in him and in you, because the darkness is past and the true light now shineth. We used to be lost. We used to be in darkness. We used to not know which way to go. But now we in the light, man. Now we got the truth. Standing on the law. We getting our culture back. We re-embracing our culture. So here's what? Verse 9. He that saith he is in the light and hates his brother is in darkness even until now. If you say you in the light, you say I'm in the I've received Jesus in my life and I love God and covered by the blood of the Lamb and bloobity blobbity blah Christian goofiness and hamana blah blah the speaking in tongues. You saying you doing all of that, but then you hate your brother, you still in darkness. And there's so much darkness in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community coming from all angles. The only place where the light is shining is in the ISUPK. This is the only place I know where black men don't hate black men. If you're in a fraternity, if you're pledge of fraternity, you love your fraternity, but the other fraternities, them niggas, they ain't all that. You here in Memphis, they got motorcycle clubs. You belong to a motorcycle club. You love your motorcycle club and your gang and crew. But them other motorcycle, them niggas, they ain't doing it like we doing it. It's like there's hate everywhere, and that's not hate. Those examples I'm giving, but everywhere in our community, you could die for a mistake or for violating somebody or for doing the wrong thing. ISUPK is the only place I know where we would do everything in our power to not kill a nigga. We'll go all the way out of our way to not bring harm to a brother or a sister. I was telling my rib this the other day. I remember being young in the truth when we went through Hebrew Academy and being taught that you can only show mercy to someone if you have the capacity to harm them. Like if you a nigga that's just a friendly ass, if you know what I'm saying, if you can't hurt nobody, you ain't, and you don't want to fight, you're not offering them grace. You're not, you're not doing them a service, nigga. You just a friendly ass nigga. You can't hurt nobody. You don't have no training or no skill or no ability to harm someone. You can't show a nigga no mercy. You can only show mercy to someone if you have the capacity to do them harm. If you have the capacity to harm them. And we are absolutely merciful in the UPK. We're trained to be. The Lord sent us out as sheep among the wolves. As sheep among the wolves. But he told us to be harmless as a dove, but wise as a serpent. So we're gone out to be like sheep. We are gone out to be harmless. But that's only because the Lord being with us, we can wreak havoc. We can cause damage. ISUPK is the only place I know where black men love other black men. Black men love Hispanic and Native Indians, and we choose love because that's what we were ordered to do. John is saying, you saying you in the light and you hate your brother, you still in the darkness. Verse 10, he that loves his brother abides in the light, and there is none occasion of stumbling in him. There's nothing that'll cause you to stumble against your brother. Again, what is loving your brother? Obeying God's commandments towards him. Matter of fact, that's what I should have said when I said these other niggas hate each other. Come on, man. A nigga will absolutely have sex with your woman and not think nothing's wrong with it, nothing bad about it, because hey man, that hoe chose me. He won't tell you, won't let you know, have a whole nasty second boyfriend relationship with your woman. Gross. And you hate your brother. You some deacon or some church going guy, and you'll have sex with some woman, and then after an argument, you act like you don't know her, you block her on all your social medias and don't talk to her no more. You're still in darkness. You're still in the darkness. Cats out there lying and scheming and trying to steal money from people. And where's all of the crypto Bitcoin niggas at? Where's all of the the Bitcoin mining people? Where they at? Yeah, you niggas, listen. The Lord is with the men in the ISUPK. I remember for years, brothers was trying to get General Muhammad to get into Bitcoin, trying to presentations, and we ready, sir. We got the, and I knew from my studies in the world of finances that when that whole Bitcoin shit hit, that was just a way of these rich bankers to gobble up all of that stimulus money. But niggas thought that Bitcoin mining was going to be the new wave and the new edge, and where is that now? Where are you Forex traders at? Nigga, Forex trading was it. You couldn't tell a nigga that it wasn't gonna get rich off no Forex trading. Lo and behold, 2 years later, here we are. All the cryptocurrency CEOs being murdered. They getting murdered in the streets, or they, dying of a suicide, or falling out of a moving car. You wonder why all the cryptocurrency CEOs is getting murdered and dying. You think it's a conspiracy theory. They want to end the crypto. They don't want nobody. No, because these niggas are witnesses to the crime. They don't want them niggas snitching. You think they murdered the cryptocurrency CEOs because they thought that the cryptocurrency bosses, they didn't want them to be rich. No. They murdered them niggas because they were going to be witnesses in grand jury indictment cases in about a week. So they had to die, stabbed all them niggas up, murdered them. They fell off buildings, fell out of moving vehicles. One cat got stabbed coming out of an apartment building in San Francisco. San Francisco, one of the richest places on the earth, cryptocurrency CEO got stabbed coming out of his apartment. Listen, you wanna know why they all died? Because they all scammed everybody and took all your money. If you understood the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, you would have known that Forex trading and cryptocurrency and Bitcoin mining was all a big goddamn joke. It was a scheme, a Ponzi scheme. Once they got everybody's money, they all shut down the trading, they disappeared. And then to make sure that these niggas didn't get cold feet and squeal, the mob bosses who was behind the whole thing ordered hits and they wiped them all out. Y'all don't believe me? Go look it up. Go look up the last 6 months and all of the great big CEOs of cryptocurrency, all of them dead. And the one that's still alive is going to jail. He worked for a company called FTX. He's going to jail for a long time because it was all just a big scheme. Scam, steal your money. But that happens in the hood all the time. Happens in churches all the time. Why? Because they do not abide in the light and they hate their brothers. You understand? But in the truth, there is no occasion of stumbling. There's no accidental, we don't accidentally hate our brothers. If a brother does violate a brother, does break the law, guess what? We have a system in place where we know how to repair our brotherhood, where we know how to obey the law concerning a brother who has offended us. And I'll get the scripture after this, but it's Leviticus chapter 19 and 17. There's absolutely a system in place for what it looks like to love your neighbor. John is breaking it down here. 1 John 2 and 11. But he that hates his brother is in darkness and walks in darkness and knows not where he goes because that darkness has blinded his eyes. You cannot get your life together if you don't know how to love the Most High and to love your brothers and sisters. How would you think loving them is being kind and being nice and helping them and encouraging them when they down? That ain't it. Loving your neighbor is obeying God's law concerning them. No, I cannot come celebrate your birthday. No, I can't wish you happy 4th of July. I cannot come and light those firecrackers because I am obeying God now. And if you obeyed God, you wouldn't do it neither. But I love y'all, but no, I'm not going to be at the cookout. Not going to be at the function. I'm not going to be at the birthday party. I'm not going to bring any presents through because, no, I don't do those things anymore. It's not a part of my culture. It's not a part of who I am. No, I can't hit this blunt with you. No, I can't go to the strip club with you. Oh, you got a sister coming through and she got a friend and you want me to run interference? Nah, she said she got a nigga, bro. I'm not being there. I'm not hanging out. And I don't want to be around no hoes anyway because y'all ain't going to be doing nothing but getting high, drinking, and smoking. And this whole thing, she going to get something from me. She's beneath me. So, no, I can't run interference for you. If you love, you got to love. And again, loving is obeying the laws of God according to how you deal with your people. Let me drop that. Let me get where I want to go to next. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and get Leviticus chapter 17. No, it's 19 and 17. You understand? This is how you love your brother. This is how you don't hate your brother. And again, the Bible is very clear. These aren't dark sayings. These aren't hidden. It's not hard to understand. It's very simple. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. What does this mean? You can't hate your brother in your mind. You can't hate your brother secretly. You can't be mad at a nigga and nobody else know about it. So that means to hate your brother. Well, how do I know if I hate my brother or not? How do I know? Or how do I stop myself from hating my brother? Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. This is how you don't hate your brother. You got to rebuke your neighbor. What does it mean to rebuke? Let's get the dictionary definition. Let's get the Merriam-Webster's dictionary definition of rebuke. All right. Rebuke is to criticize sharply or to reprimand. Everybody understands? Let's get reprimand, might be give us a better word. Okay. Okay, a reprimand is to serve a severe or formal reproof. It's taking us down a rabbit hole. So we got rebuke, right? Which is to tell somebody that you disapprove of something they did. Or to reprimand someone to say, you did this, you shouldn't do that. It was wrong that you did this, right? A severe or formal reproof. What is reproof? Reproof is criticism for a fault. That's important. A reproof is criticism for a fault. What is the synonym for reproof? It's rebuke. So it's the same definition. Rebuke is a criticism for a fault. We're going to go with that. To criticize somebody sharply for something they've done. Why would you hate your brother? Because he did something to you and you never addressed it. So how do you stop from hating your brother? You have to address your brother when he does something wrong to you. That is what Leviticus 19 and 17 is saying. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any way, all the time, rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Someone has done something wrong to you and you're bothered by it. You're mad by it. You're angry. Nigga, you can't be angry on the inside. You have to go to him and tell him what he did was wrong. So that when he knows that what he did was wrong, he can say, I'm sorry. I apologize. My fault. My bad. It won't happen again. Now you in your mind can't hate him. That's loving your neighbor. That's loving your neighbor. Correcting them when they do something wrong so you don't hate them. This is what God gave us. This was the law. This was the culture he gave us. As an Israelite, I can't be mad at a nigga in my head. I got to go talk to that nigga. I got to go tell him, hey, man, this is how I feel. And I can't walk around feeling like this because the Lord said I can't. This is what you did. And give him a chance to say, damn, my bad, bro. Hey, I'm sorry, man. You know, I would never do that to you. Or you know what, man, I was tripping that day. I was drunk. Whatever the reason was, let him know he was wrong. And let him apologize. Because if you don't do that, then you'll suffer sin upon him. He could have done something that was wrong. You not telling him about it, he could die for what he did to you. He may not know that he did it. He may not know it affects you. You got to go talk to him. That's love. We don't have to wonder what loving my neighbor is. What does it look like to love? What does black love look like? I don't got to wonder what it is. I ain't got to, it's black love, you know, loving basketball or brown sugar. What is love? We know what love is. Imagine relationships. Imagine how many relationships would work if a man actually loved a woman. Hey, baby, when you call me and you say, "What you doing?" Don't ever do that. It sickens me when you call me and say, "What you doing? Where you at?" Baby, don't ever do that. Makes me feel like you belittling me or something, or like you checking me. Bitch, you can't check me. If I feel like you checking me in a relationship, then I'm on purpose going to make sure that you miserable, because you're not going to make me miserable. I'm not going to be walking around feeling like some woman checking after me. Goddamn, brother, you might save your relationship if you just tell a woman, don't ever call me and ask me what I'm doing. Call me and ask me, am I busy, or how was my day, or baby, how the business going, or just wait for me to call you. If you brothers don't learn to communicate with your woman, that's how you lose a relationship. What if a woman talked to her man, not talked at him, but went to him and said, "Hey, baby, I know you can have multiple wives, and I'm gonna be with you regardless." It just kind of makes me feel some kind of way when you do this or do that, or hearten all the bitches pictures that are my friends on. I don't know what you're doing, but maybe some of you women could just talk to your man. Don't talk at him. Don't belittle him. But just let him know, baby, this bothers me. And maybe he'll say, "Damn, baby, my bad, Salaki. You know what? I'll work on that." And then he'll work on it. God damn. Rather than you just sitting around not talking to him, wait till you get drunk, then you want to argue and fight. Bitch, you might want to hear that. What if we all just started to love ourselves the way God said to love? What if we just embraced our culture? What if we just stood on the law that God gave to us? How much we could change overnight, today, right now. You ain't gotta wait for the future. You ain't gotta wait for some miracle or amazing thing to happen in your life for you to begin to love God, for you to begin to obey Him, for you to begin to love your brother and love your sister. You could do that now. And if you do it now, who cares about the consequences if you know that you're doing it for the Lord? Keep reading Leviticus 19 and 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. Oh, all the hoes who've ever said, he cheated on me, so I cheated on him. Damn. Bitch, how about you don't hold no grudges? How about you don't avenge yourself? That man cheated on you. I know it broke your heart. You was sad. How about you not avenge yourself? How about you put it in the Lord's hands? So many of our lives are consumed with just trying to get somebody back for something they did. Let them have it. They stooped low and did something grimy. Hey, let them have it. Let them live with that. I'm not going to let nobody cause me to stoop low. No, for what? I'm not going beneath myself because of what someone else chose that they wanted to do with their life. And put it in the Lord's hands. The Lord said, "You shall not, Salaki, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people." How many women have ruined the lives of their children and their children's fathers because of some grudge? You mad because he, didn't want to be with you. You wasn't his, he didn't want to live with you. Another woman he wanted to live with, even though he had kids with you. You hate him because he would not move. He wouldn't move out from her and come live with you. You petty, ho. You petty. And you're cursing your children and cursing yourself because you're disobeying God by holding a grudge. Sad. Sad. The answers to the solutions to all the problems that are in the black community aren't in outer space somewhere on Mars. They aren't 2 miles under the ocean. Salaki, I got to talk about this Titanic thing. I ain't gonna do it tonight, but I got to do a podcast or just go on my Angry Black Man channel. I got to talk about the insanity of these devils to go 2 miles under the ocean with a PlayStation controller, with no lines or hooks or attachments to any boat or ship or satellite. You niggas just gonna get in a sardine can and just drop. Salaki, I can't do it right now. But the solutions to the problems that we're facing aren't buried with the Titanic. It's very close. It's right here. It's in the Bible. We just have to pick up the book and read and embrace what we read and become what God called us to be. And then we'll be able to transform our community and have the kingdom of heaven, which is what was promised to us by the Most High. With that, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Since 1969, we've been teaching so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2023, there's nothing more important than for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is. With that, the classes here in Memphis are at 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. Again, 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215, 6 to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Thursday. The calling number is 901-249-0085. Again, 901-249-0085. You brothers and sisters tuning in, you got family, loved ones, people you care about, and in Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas, get them in contact with the ISUPK. With that, see y'all tomorrow. Israel, shalom.